Welcome to the Reality Transurfing podcast brought to you by TransurfingTV. I'm your host, Bootsy Greenwood, and today I have the pleasure of speaking with Shamangy Tel. Shamangy is Dutch, but she lives in Bali now, and she's living quite her best life, I'd say. Welcome to the show, and thank you so much for talking to me today, Shamangy.
Thank you, Owen. I'm really happy to be here and discussing ideas and just things about transurfing and life and freedom with you. So I'm honored to be here.
Well, it's my pleasure to speak with you. I'm really excited to speak with you. I had spoken with a couple of folks. They were like, "Wait till you speak with her. She's brilliant." And I've seen a couple of your videos that you're very well put together, and you speak well. And I'm really excited to hear a little bit about your story. Can I ask what brought you to Bali?
Yeah, of course, because I was like, yeah, it's a long story, but I can make it a summary, like a short summary. Is I was always attracted to sun and beaches and good vibes and jungly vibes and just a nice climate. And where I'm from, like Rotterdam, the Netherlands, they only have concrete everywhere and big buildings and people that work hard and stuff like that. And I was like, man, not for me in this lifetime. When I decided that, I was like, no, I'm going to travel. I'm going to just work online, make my money online and see whatever the world has to offer to me. And then Bali was like something that really touched my heart and everything. And it's just like everything I need is here. So I can just be me and have the rest taken care of around me. So that's why Bali. It's amazing here.
Yeah, I bet it is amazing there. Beautiful weather, beaches, all of that.
Yes.
Awesome.
Yes, exactly.
That's so
and
cool.
that's something that really drawn me to this place. And also the people here are really focused on like the expats, the digital nomads is how you call them. They are like omnipresent here, so it's also great to meet other people that are freedom minded, and I like to mingle with people that think a little bit the same, or you can bounce off ideas. So they are more entrepreneurial, and they know about the good stuff in life.
Cool. Yeah. Well, let's talk a little bit about freedom. What a huge word, and that's a massive that's a massive topic, but I think it's one that's really appealing and part of the reason why we might be able to apply some of these principles and work toward that goal.
Yeah. Freedom is very, very important for me. And this is something that was in my feelings already. When I was little, people couldn't tell me what I should do. I was really, in that sense, I was not like that kid that was really, really annoying or something. But if you told me what to do, I would think like, okay, why do I need to do this? I don't think it fits me. I want to decide for myself what I want to do. So that's where actually the freedom was already present within me, and that I needed to also create a life of freedom for myself. And that's where I actually started looking for freedom in all types of ways. And it started with studying and everything. And that I was also like, okay, do I even want to work in a company or for a boss? And I was like, no, I'm not going to do that. It's not this is not for me anymore. But I'm saying it all lightheartedly now at the moment because it's like that for me. But I was really literally when I was really depressed before coming at that point. And that's also where transurfing helped me get started with my path and really get the best out of my life in a short period of time. And then it opened up doors for me massively, inside myself, but also in what it was possible for me in business, online business, and also for traveling outside myself. What do I want to experience in life? What is freedom to me? And in what way do I want to have it? And that's actually what transurfing did for me. So freedom is just my thing.
Wow, that's so cool. Yeah, it's one of mine too. And I also can relate. I was kind of I was really depressed, and I would say about right about 7 years ago, and I was reading a bunch of different political philosophy and all kind of things like that, and freedom being this thing that I think I misunderstood most of my life too. But on an individual level too, just being able to open up our ability to do what we want with ourselves.
Yes.
A lot of us have those issues and struggles and addictions and just things like that sort of
Yes.
bring us back. But I can very much relate to your sort of bucking authority as well, from a young age, and wanted to do your own thing, because very, very often I've been in a job or in a situation where I was pretty miserable, and just building someone else's dream, right?
Yes, I know how it feels. It's definitely not something enjoyable, like for me, because at first of all, like when you come inside a company and you get paid like I don't know, some kind of like a wage an hour or something, and you know that your boss is like receiving way more than you're receiving in your pocket. For me, it is just like, no, maybe I can try to do it myself. And keep more of the money as well, because like if I can tell a little, a bit about myself, like where I come from and why freedom was so important, why it also became some of my my most priority in life, is because for me, when I grew up in a family like with 4 kids, all girls and a single mom, and she was actually like on welfare because she couldn't work. So we did not have any money, and we were not in that sense free to go or to do anything. Like I wanted to just explore my world, and we needed sometimes money for that, to just buy something so I could learn about my world, right? Like how does the world around me works. But there was always no money, so there was always a problem. And for me, that was also where I, in my mind, and it began like there. It messed my brain up there, because I started to relate freedom to money, and that's also what got me into the race of making money at first, and then finding out that money is not freedom, and that it doesn't equal, like it does add to it, but it's not the same. So then I also experienced like, okay, so I need mental, emotional, spiritual freedom to just feel good in my life about what I'm doing, and also working on a purpose, and helping people and inspiring people, or just give people an idea that life is more than what you have seen while growing up or having a job or something like that. Because after that situation, like when I grew up and I went to high school, I was actually a very shy person. So nobody noticed me, nobody knew me. And I was like, okay, do I want to live the rest of my life without friends or people knowing me or caring about me? Because I felt like nobody cared for me either. And that's where I found out that making a decision could be so very powerful. Is that I made a decision right then and right there that I didn't want to end up like that. And like within, I think, a couple of months, the whole school was like knew who Shamangy was. And I could not imagine that I would never be able to make new friends or meet new people anymore. But I'm actually very introverted in that sense. Like I like my own space, but now wherever I go, it's not difficult for me to talk to people, while back then it was super hard for me to just even connect or just be open to people. So then and there I made a decision to switch my life around, and that's what I also took from there to actually also the part, I think it was a couple of like 3-4 years ago, that I was super depressed, and I said, okay, now I need to switch my life around, and I'm just going to go for making my dreams true, because I'm the only one that can do that. And I took the principles of transurfing and worked every day with it. Like every morning when I opened my eyes, the book was like under my pillow or next to my pillow, and when I opened my eyes, I opened the book and I read a couple of lines or like a paragraph or whatever more than that, and I would implement the things that I read the same day, and kept doing that. And that's what made me very successful with my business. Within 3 months, I turned over more than 130K and stuff like that. And that's where my life turned around. And I found out, like, okay, the moment that you make a decision is the moment that you can change your life, right then and right there. And that's
Wow.
something that really opened my mind to other possibilities and other worlds and other things that are definitely possible to do for yourself in your life.
Wow, that's really, really powerful. I have a similar experience too, like with transurfing. Like you said, the book was under your pillow. Yeah, I got the 78 days practical transurfing, and of course, I was reading the book all the time. I just made the decision that, okay, this is going to be the book that I'm gonna implement these principles. This is it.
Yes,
Finally.
exactly.
And a couple of things too, because like the more depressed I'm an introvert extrovert. I had my chart read the other day by this lady named Emmy. She saw right through me. She was amazing.
Cool.
And we're friends now, which is great. And we have some friends in common, which is how I even got, it was actually on my birthday. She read my chart, which is pretty interesting. It was pretty cool. But
amazing.
one thing that I know, one thing that I noticed was that I, the more sort of depressed I was, the more introverted I would be. And the happier that I was, the more extroverted. But now I still like my free time and to be alone and stuff. But one of the things that helped me, and he talks about how, like, dreams aren't, you don't really interpret your dreams. Your soul's just flying through the space of alternates and exploring all kinds of possibilities at night when we sleep. But one thing that I noticed that really helped me a lot was that in my dreams, I wasn't with other people. I was by myself, and it was like, oh, okay. So, in the regular world, a lot of times we feel like we need to go out in a group. We need to be, and it is fun to go out in a group, but just making that switch in my mind to being like, okay, well, I can go out and I can experience the world in my waking life just like I experience it in my dream life, right? Like there's no circle of friends necessarily in a dream. It's just me experiencing all this stuff. Can we talk a little bit about how you realized money isn't freedom? I think that a lot of people really probably prescribe to that belief. They think if I get this X amount of money, then I'll be able to do this thing with my life. Can we talk a little bit about that?
Yeah, sure. Yeah, I had multiple occasions that I learned that it was totally not connected. So first of all, it was because, like everyone, or well, the lucky ones, the people that are from our side of the, world, we study, we go to school. So we do high school, and then we go to study, like maybe at a university or something like that. So I studied as well. And what people told me, and my mom, of course, is that, like, oh, when you study and you get good grades, and then you're going to get a good job and you're going to make good money, right? And so what got imprinted in my brain is, was like, okay, so making money is important in life as well. Yeah, I've seen it, because we don't have anything because we don't have any money. So I was like, okay. So it's just about studying something that can make you money, and then with the money you can be happy, like that. So, and first of all, I was studying I studied psychology. I liked it. It was interesting. And it has a perspective of making money, but you needed to actually extensively study as well. Here, like in Holland, in Holland, I mean, you needed to study more to indeed be able to, do it yourself. And then you were like a how do you say it, a psychologist on your own. So you have your own practices in that sense, and then you make more money. But I was not interested, definitely not interested, because I was very, very sensitive myself in helping people that have mental issues. So it would give me more mental issues about thinking that I needed to help people with mental issues. And for me, it was just too heavy. So because I did that clinical psychology thing, and it was like, okay, interesting, but I felt like, oh my God, I think I'm crazy, because I applied to this, I applied to that, I applied to everything. And I was literally going nuts when studying these symptoms. You have the DSM-4, where everything is yeah, describe like what type of craziness you have if you have these things, or you have these things if you have this type of craziness. So for me, it was like a hell going through learning that all those things. So I was like, no, this is not for me. And then I thought, okay, maybe I should go inside of like corporates and stuff. And, I think there's money to be made because business is business. And yeah, we can make money there. And then I actually um, got fed up with studying because I was like, okay, I don't like thinking about going into a place that I have to work for a boss and whatever. So I don't know if I should do this. And I also, in the meantime, met well, he's now a friend, but it was like back then it was just a trainer. He was giving all these seminars on financial freedom, and he was like explaining the cash flow quadrant from Robert Kiyosaki, like, okay, you need to be a business owner or self-employed, just not an employee. You should not be self-employed either, but it's the next step, and then you go from self-employed to a business owner and then an investor, right? So when you're at the investor level, you can maximize all your financial rewards and stuff like that. So I was like, okay, yeah, I need to start then maybe start my own business. So I was studying, and then I was like, okay, not motivated anymore. So I finished the bachelor's and did not finish the master's degree. And in Holland, that's like something you cannot do, because then you're actually didn't finish your studies if you did not do your master's either. So I felt like a failure already.
Oh,
But
no.
then, yeah, it was like really bad because I started it twice and I quit it twice. So I was like, okay, whatever. I think I feel like I want to work. I want to do something. I want to make money, because now I have not made any money still. I'm like 20, what was I, 22 or something. And I had not ever made a full income, like monthly income. So I was like, okay, I want to have that income. And so started working. But I started doing work that paid okay, like it was well, but I so hated it. I went there and I was like, oh, I'm doing new things. Oh, that's great. Oh, I'm meeting new people. Okay, also awesome. But then a month in or 2 months in, I was like, oh, shoot me, kill me. If I need to sell my soul to do this job for this money, it's not gonna make me happy. So I actually I went a little bit ahead. So they asked me actually to become a project manager in like the biggest telecom company in Holland, and they asked me to do like a migration data project for like I needed to lead 40 people or something like that. I was like, oh, cool, yeah, I want to learn that. But once I did it and I had like everything that I wanted, so because I visualized, okay, I need to have the company car and whatever, everything like that. I got everything, but then I was like, I remember like the day it was yesterday, and I remember I was sitting in this company lease car that I had, and I was calling through the Bluetooth connection on the car, and I just left the office like at, I think it was 8:30 or something, and I was on my way to just go to my mom and have some food and whatever. But I was on the phone, and I remember like the day, like it was yesterday, they were like, we had like a conference call, and they were like saying like, oh my God, this client needed to migrate to the next platform today, and why didn't that happen? We have to make sure that it happens today. And I was like, why am I not in what way interested whatsoever interested in this customer, that he does not have 20 mbit or 40 mbits download speed for his internet connection. He can wait like 30 minutes or a day or two, I mean, like, it's not like the world ends. So for me, it was like I could not understand why I was working that hard and I didn't get my extra hours that I worked paid, and I was working so much for money that I thought it was, yeah, okay, well, I cannot spend it if I work the whole day, so for me it was like, okay, this doesn't really make me happy even if I get money. And then I actually got the chance to quit the job, I got paid leave actually, and so I could move and live my dream of going to move to Ibiza. I lived there for a couple of months, and I did that, and I was like, okay, I really need to keep this going. I need to be able to travel and make money online. So I was thinking, okay, I'm going to find something, but I was still scared, right? And not really confident in my abilities to build a business and to just, be responsible for my own income and whatever. So I got back actually to Holland. And then in a weird way, I have no idea why or how, someone invites me. They actually invite me again. Only was then for a different department for the same similar job in the same company. And I was like, oh no, I should not do that. But I thought I needed money, right? I thought, okay, I'm so dependent, I need money. And I said to myself, okay, I'm not gonna do this job unless they pay me this and this and this amount. And it was like, for me, an amount that was like really like, whoa, yeah, you should do anything for this amount of money. So I was like, okay, let's just do it. It can keep me going. It's because I get something in return for it. Now I can do some job that I don't like for the money, right? And then after a month, I was like a month in, it was around Christmas already, and I started to get like literally depressed from that job, literally depressed. And I was like, okay, I still need to fit in this system, I think, because, everyone has a job, and, maybe it's only me that I cannot hold a job, and I just too difficult, and maybe I should teach myself how to stay in a job. So I was like, okay, let me just stay at least 6 months here, and I'm not going to quit after a month. But one day, it was I think it was the third month in. One day I was literally so depressed and so tired of going there, and I was crying, and I just came out of the shower, so crying, and I literally shouted through to the, I don't know, skies or whatever, the universe, God, however you want to call it. And I said, give me a sign if I need to do this any longer. And then I got all calm again, and I thought, no, I can do this. I am going to just do this for another couple of months. So I go back to that job, and then I just go sit behind my desk, and I start my computer, and it's like I was late, of course, so. And then they it was like a self-directing team or something, so everyone has a say in what happens in the team. And then someone says, hey, Shamangy. I said, yes, can we please talk to you for a second? I was like, okay. So I went over with them to some meeting room, and they actually told me yeah, it's not about your job or something, you're doing great, but we don't think you fit in here. And I was like, is this the sign? And is this a sign that I should not ever again sell my soul for an amount of money that is not even it doesn't even pay. It doesn't even pay you happiness, not anything. So it's a sum of money, but you think it's a lot of money for your standards, but it's nothing that is worth your happiness. And that's where I really had the conclusion. I really decided on that point, and it's again the point of decision, that it was not going to be something I would ever choose to do again. Wow. And I haven't looked back since. So
that's awesome.
So and that's not even the last bit of experience I have. That money doesn't make you happy or buys happiness. You can't, because then I went on. Okay, so I had a small episode. Well, not a small episode. I had a big episode actually of depression. That's the last depression that happened. There is I really got depressed because I couldn't fit inside the system, like the pendulums that are all around, like the normal thing that people that expect from you. I could not hold on to any of them. I could not be a favorite anyhow. It was just not for me. So I needed to find the pendulums that work for me, that I could give energy and they give me energy back, so I could have a certain type of life if I read myself out in that sense, what was described in the book. And I actually turned my life around, made a decision that now for this business, and I had never been able to really make money and to keep myself alive from my own efforts in my own business. So that's why I also was very scared of leaving the job and the corporate environment. But now I decided that I was going to do that, and that's when I indeed within 3 months, made more over 130K in 3 months, right? And then okay, so I have money. I'm like, okay, yeah, I did it, whatever. Okay, so I thought this is something that now I'm going to be happy. Now I'm going to have the freedom and do anything that I like. And that was not the case at all. Because once you have the money, you cannot buy your peace of mind. You're going to be stressed if you don't like the thing that you're doing. You're going to be you're going to be, it's going to eat your energy. You're not going to be happy. It's going to cost you actually the same that you were doing when you were working in a job. So it's not the money that gives you fulfillment and that you can be or do wherever you want. It's the thing that you feel inside, like who are you, that will that money would be more of an instrument for you to express yourself and to do the things that you are, but not in and of itself. It will not give you the happiness that you are looking for. It's more the fulfillment of being on purpose, or of for me, helping other people, and just doing awesome stuff, finding out how shit works.
Yeah, that's so cool. Yeah, I love that. That's amazing. Yeah. So wow, that's a great story. I really enjoyed hearing that. Like, I feel the same way. Like when I'm helping people, when I'm providing something of of value to folks,
Mm-hmm.
like I feel rewarded and I feel full in that sense. When I'm at a job that. And it's so funny that they took you aside and said, so you're doing great, but you're just not really quite fit. And it might have been your mentality, that reflected that.
Mm-hmm.
That's happened to me that way, at least, when in jobs where I was unfulfilled, and it's very clear. I tend to wear my I don't have a poker face at all. Like I tend to wear my emotions on my sleeve, so people can kind of see right through me whenever I am unfulfilled. And even though you rented yourself out, and which is awesome. I mean, you're implementing all these things, but I mean, you can't fit a square peg into a round hole, too.
No, it's not gonna work, and you should not ever want to make it work. Like, no, that's sad if we do that.
It is. It's miserable. You lose your identity. You lose your expression.
Yeah.
You're not being the particle of God that you actually embody at that point.
Exactly. Yeah. And I'm used to compare it with like a piece of the puzzle, like the whole world and everyone in this world is like a complete puzzle with everyone all together, and then you have a unique fit, right? Every puzzle has some puzzle, and the puzzle piece is always unique to the whole puzzle, because else it would fit anywhere, and it's not the point of the puzzle. And if you're not going to be the puzzle, you're going to mess up the puzzle. If you're not going to be the piece of puzzle that you're made to be, you're going to mess up the whole puzzle. And that's when your reality will also reflect you, that because you're not being who you are in the puzzle piece that you are, it's going to not fit, and you're going to see connection everywhere. You're gonna be unhappy because it doesn't fit.
Wow, that's so good. I love it. Yeah, and like the naysayers would say, well, that's just very idealistic. I mean, we have to, we all have to live in the real world, and you got to shovel coal or whatever. It's like, yeah, okay, the world will agree with you, my friend.
yeah, exactly. It will, and ask yourself, where does the world exist for you? I mean, like the naysayers, ask also yourself, what is indeed reality? What is your world? Where do you live? If you go inside the human mind and the brain, we actually already, like, science is telling us that 80% of our world is made up out of memories, and 20% is something that we're observing. Wow. So if you're living a reality, you're living 20% what you're seeing, and 80% is just bullshit, actually, because you just made something up from your memory. It might not even be there. So that's the world. That's what you're actually living. That's actually what people are living. You're not even maybe you're not even participating in a world or a reality. Maybe you're participating with your own vision, with your own view, with your own conditioning, with your own brain that's wired in a certain way.
Yeah, that's really good. So you studied psychology at university.
Yeah, I did that.
I'm curious to
And it was,
know, and clinical psychology at that. So you definitely have had a desire to help people.
yeah,
But
always.
I'm really curious to know, since you studied that, how does the psychology that you studied in university fit in with transurfing?
Actually, that's an interesting question, because it does how do you say it? It does reflect some things that are in transurfing. So in transurfing, it's a lot about, okay, how do we create our own realities? How do we transurf to the sector or lifeline that we want to experience? And in psychology, they actually are talking about confirmation biases and the principles that you are always looking for something that you want to believe in. So you're always looking for confirmation of the things that you're already believing in. And also transurfing says, like, okay, if you change your beliefs in this fashion, or you want to change your reality, change your thinking, change your thoughts. And psychology is the same. Like, if you want to change your world, your life, your feelings, you have to change your thinking. And they do some stuff with cognitive behavioral therapy and stuff, and this is about changing your way of thinking. And if you change your way of thinking, you change your outcomes as well. So it says the same, like, okay, we can alter, we can we can create different lives. But then that's a small part that for me was highlighted in the studies, because the rest of the study was more about statistics and what does science say, and what does some experiments say, and the funny thing for me, and that's why I never got why we're doing why we're making some, how you say it, some experiences or experiments so important, because 4 years later is when the report is written. So the experiment has been done 4 years ago, and now we're saying, oh, the conclusion is this and this, but we change as humans. So how can you say that something from 4 years ago is something that's still relevant today?
Right. That's a really good question.
And that's why I was like, okay, I cannot work in this field. I like researching myself, so I research my own life, my own psyche, and my own things, and maybe the people around me sometimes as well. But in that sense, I think it's more important to focus on the psychology within yourself as a person than too much looking for evidence in science. Science is really interesting, but sometimes it's not practical.
Mm. Yeah, it's interesting to kind of take issue with science itself, because there's so many people, especially now, who are like, well, they basically, science is kind of their god in a way. And we have to keep in mind the observer effect when we are dealing with that, because we do influence the outcome of the experiment.
Exactly.
So it's like, it's interesting. It's a little bit of a balance there, I would say, to folks who are, who are like, well, logic. Well, logic isn't always correct, so with AI and all the stuff that we're programming. It's like, I was talking to some friends the other day about it. It was an interesting conversation for sure, because they're mostly academics. They're mostly I live in a college town, so most of the people that I have the opportunity to talk to are academics, and I totally understand logic, but there's so many other things that can't be explained in the world. I mean, there's some crazy phenomenon that you can't, even the best scientists can't explain. From the paranormal and on, different things like that.
Yeah. I totally agree. And logical is not always helpful. I have more experience that I was being logical, and it did not help me, or even it set me back with being logical, like referring also to the money part, and also other decisions that you want to make in life. You should not, you don't want to consider it being dependent of your logics. So we cannot comprehend most of the things that are happening in this world if you know that from all the things that we are really perceiving, like maybe 20% is something that we're really looking at. It's just going to be difficult to say that only logic will help us find our ways through life and stuff. It's actually crazy. Even though for me it's something, because I am definitely someone that wants to see and wants to feel and wants to touch. So I'm literally like focused like on what can I see and stuff. But I know that it's just not where the answers are, and I think more people should realize as well.
I think that's so good, because like if you take your story, you did the logical thing when you went to the company and tried to make as much money as you could, and that was the logical move, right? Like, to everybody who is an outside observer, except for you, who could feel your own misery, as a part of making that choice, it was like, well, from the outside looking in, well, she's got the perfect job, she's got the perfect life, she's got she's got lots of money. What is there to complain about, right? Like, isn't that what everyone wants? But then inside, you're miserable because your heart's not where it wants to be, right? So your mind was in the right place, but again, in transurfing, we want to unite those two hemispheres, right? We want our heart and our mind to be
exactly. Yes. Yeah, that's the thing, and that's where the power lies, and that's also where you can make more use of like outer intention and stuff like that, because if you're not aligned with yourself, and like for me, what short backstory is, like for me, transurfing is like everything that I've learned in 10 years is in one book. So I started studying about life and how I can change myself, like NLP. I started studying NLP like for when I was 16, and then I went off to like, okay, how can I make more money at 19? And I was studying all these things, and then I was like, oh, I need to change my thinking or something, and I dove inside of like quantum physics, observer effect, and double slit experiments, and I've like read and seen and heard everything, every theory that's out there. But when I touched this book and I opened it, I was like, oh my God, oh my God, this is like, it's everything. It's like in one book, and this is why it's so thick. It's like everything condensed and really well connected, and everything is definitely like stayed in there. And that's also why I know from other theoretical things, or from other studies, and learn people that teach other things, that indeed it's so important to connect the heart and the mind, to be one with yourself, and then to just everything just flows from there. And I've experienced that so many times, that you're on a like maybe like the point that you need to choose a direction, or you need to make a decision or something like that. And for me, it was the thing that when I wanted to go to it was actually when I wanted to go to Ibiza. I was like working on that project, and I had only for the day trip time or something, I had like a holiday for 4 days. And I was in Ibiza. Then I went there on holidays, and I was when I needed to return, I was like, oh my God, I am so gonna live here for 2 or 3 months. I don't know how, I don't know when, I don't know what. It doesn't actually matter. Actually, I'm just gonna, I feel it, I send it out, my heart and my mind were aligned. And I was like, okay, I see whatever comes together for me to have this experience. And then I returned to the job, and the director of my division said, okay, how was it, Shamangy? And she was coaching me, and I said, oh, my holiday was so nice, I didn't want to leave actually. And for a very strange reason, this woman was like something like psychic or something, and she said like, wait, Shamangy, I feel something. I was like, yeah, what? You need to go there. You need to live there for a couple of months. Just go and be yourself, and just breathe. Go sit on the beach, and you don't need to worry about anything. I'll take care of the the contract or whatever, because I still had a 6-month contract for the company, right? So she's like, okay, but you have to decide now, because when your manager returns, he's not going to accept this and he's going to say no. So you need to call me today and let me know what you're doing. And I was like, oh my God, I never ever heard anyone in my environment or in Holland, whatever, that got like fired to go travel for 3 months and got paid till the end of the contract, right? Right?
That's amazing.
This is crazy. It's just crazy. It's just like, okay, okay, so this is a sign.
Yes.
I should do it, maybe.
Yeah. I want you to stop working, move to the place that you want to move to, and still get paid.
And I'll pay you. Yes. That's crazy. That's crazy.
Wow.
It was, it was a weird experience to me, but I enjoyed it.
I'm sure. That's amazing. What a cool story. That's outer intention for sure. Like that's for sure outer intention.
100%. I couldn't see how that was happening. Really, it was only within 2 days that this happened. Like 2 days later, I returned and we called and she said, "Okay, do that." And I was like, "Oh, okay." It goes fast like this. That's how it works.
That's amazing. Oh my God.
Yeah, it was crazy. So, and I also had like the experience for. Oh.
No, go ahead, please. I'm sorry.
Oh yeah, the experience for like heart and mind alignment when I was indeed when I quit the job or I was fired actually from the job. That the heart and mind balance I had because I decided that I needed to live a life where I met my own needs, right? That I was happy, and that I needed to find a method on how to do it, and that's where I actually also manifested it quickly, that I could rent myself out to this business model, which would enable me to just do and be and have whatever I wanted to experience at that point in life. So that was also for me because I had that mind and heart balance. I was in with my heart for myself, and I took my mind with me because my mind was like, okay, I'd like to learn a new thing as well. Okay, let's just make it work. So and then it all came together as well. So it's really important to combine it too.
Yeah, that's really good. When you had that experience, do you feel like your heart led you?
Yeah, definitely. Okay. Definitely.
That might be the difference, right? Because like a lot of those logical choices that we make, it's like, well, this is the rational thing to do and all of that kind of stuff. So, I'm going to do, so we're leading with our head in those, when we make those decisions. But yeah, I'm just kind of curious as to what your inspiration was when you started to move in your own direction.
Yeah. So the inspiration for me was more my depression, actually, because I was so depressed that I was feeling, I knew like the symptoms of how it was, but I was like ignoring it for myself. I was also not acknowledging that I felt really negative and not nice. So actually one day I felt apathy, like a strong feeling of apathy. And I was like, oh shit, this means it's real. I don't care about anything. I don't feel like I have a purpose. I don't feel like nothing excites me anymore. The things that I wanted to do, the travel that I want to make, it doesn't excite me anymore. I cannot think about it. It just makes me not want to do it as well. So I was like, shit, I think I'm apathic, and that means that I am depressed. So I needed to acknowledge that it was there, and that it was just a reality, that I was not feeling well. And actually I did a Google search of like, shit, what should I do when I feel apathic, right? So I got actually like a video and like somewhere on YouTube, and it really got me back to my heart. So it really pointed me that I needed to go look inside my heart, like, okay, what's in there that I've been ignoring for a long time, which makes me feel like this right now. So, and then I actually went inside my heart to feel, okay, what is it that I want to feel, and what is it that my heart needs and my soul needs, and what is that I maybe as a kid could not do, or was stopped doing, or was like punished to not do it because it was not something that was rewarded for me to do, that I just had ignored, where was a that was a part of me, and it was discovering my world. And life had not given me had not been giving me the chance, or me, I have not given myself a chance to discover life, because I took it also serious. I was thinking about everything, and what steps should I make next, and what is everyone thinking of me if I have this job or don't have this job or whatever. So it was like pleasing my environment instead of like listening to my own heart. So when I got back to my heart and noticed that, okay, I'm all about like finding out how stuff works, like making stuff work, finding how a formula, what the formula of life is for me and for other people, what like formula of happiness, and just making everything feel right is, and discovering the world around me. And when I realized that that was in my heart, and I said to myself, okay, oh shit, I'm sorry that I did not do that anymore, and I'm now going to pick it up. It like instantly it changed, and I got an insight, like I got some crazy vision or something, like that what my purpose was here. Like it was a crazy type of thing that it told me, like, okay, you're like, I don't know if you know the TV program like Undercover Boss, but it's your world. You created it, you designed it, but you send yourself down inside the world to find out how your own company works. And then I was like, oh yeah, that's
Undercover Boss.
Yeah, that's like it's a TV series. It was something
Yeah,
that was on
I
TV.
know,
Like,
I know it. I know it. I just wanted
oh,
to just because you kind of like glitched
clarify.
out for just a second when you were saying it. I want to
Okay.
make sure. Okay, sorry, didn't mean to
Yes.
interrupt you, but
No, it's okay. So indeed that thing, like, okay, you're the CEO of a company or a world. You run a total world, inside of another world. But you are the one that has the tools, and you decided that you wanted to run this type of thing and this type of world. But now you're going to find out, like, what does the janitor do? What does the operator back in the computer do? And how does it work together? And how does it work actually? Like, how does your company work? How does your world work? And when I had that feeling and insight, like everything lit up, and instantly my whole world like switched and changed, because I went back to my heart. I had that insight, and I just then was able and had the energy to move, to make my dreams become reality, to intend to make it work. And then I had like the power to make it work, because it's my world.
that's right. Wow,
Yeah.
that's powerful. That's really really good. Yeah, the apathy. That is how you know that you are depressed. You're definitely on a life track
Yeah.
that's not serving you. If you're feeling that apathetic, that's probably the worst feeling, right? Like
Yeah.
that I've ever had, where you just don't care. You know.
Yeah. 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 It's horrible.
It is. What advice, like if somebody is kind of like dealing with that, what would you say to them if you could, or even to yourself then, before
Mm-hmm.
you sort of came out of that place?
Yeah, I think like for me, it was very important to experience, like consciously, like aware that I was aware that that was happening,
Mm.
because it was so important for me to find out how to listen to my own heart and to follow my own heart. How difficult it was at the moment, because I was still thinking about I want to make my mom happy, that she's proud of me, and the world around me, that I have a good job or whatever. And what I would say is like, okay, really, really observe yourself, like see what is happening, and see what you have also been ignoring for yourself. Like, whose standards have you been trying to live up to, and whose world are you living? Is it your ideal life, or is it something that's not yours? And then also see that you have the power to feel different as well, that you can make something out of the way that you're feeling at the moment, that it doesn't need to be like that depression, and that feeling like that is a point of view that you need to switch out of, that you need to. And some people need help with that, right? Like I did it for myself, but I think it's important that if some people can't do it by themselves, maybe that someone else helps you to get another version of life, that you get inspiration as well from your heart, because I think we get depressed when we don't listen to our feelings, to our soul too, because it says a lot to us, but if we block it out, we don't hear it, and then it's like all under the mud and stuff like that. So we need to really focus and go inside again, inwards again. And that's what I think I would like to say to myself or someone else that has that feeling. And to just remember who you were as a kid, like what did you like doing, what type of things were you taking joy out of, and that remembrance brought me back to who I was in my heart.
Can you talk a little bit? I'm just curious. I think that's such a neat point. What specific things were you that came back into your mind about when you were a kid, and what gave you joy then?
Yeah, it was for me mainly like discovering my world, like how does, researching, like if I do this, what happens then, so just testing and trying out. And most of the things were like also a little bit focused on, I think I had some interest in physics and science, little, and computer techie stuff, and just like um, some things that you can see, like okay, when I do A, B happens, or something like that. It's more exploring my surroundings, and also a part of it was also creating. And that's what brought me back. That's what I remembered from me being a child, that was really the thing that gave me joy back then, just being in my own world, just playing around in maybe also in my mind. I like now to also go back in my mind and just to see whatever happens, like if I explore this part of myself, what comes up, and what can I do with that, and like how does it turn out in my reality, just asking myself questions like, okay, what's related to what. And that's really what also was bringing me joy as a kid, just observing.
Wow, that's really, really good. Okay, and then the last thing I might like to ask would be, do you have any advice? What advice might you have for people who are starting out and venturing out as entrepreneurs?
Yeah, do it. Just do it. Like I know I'm not trying to steal any company's sentence or something, but it's just about it's really about getting your vision clear. Like, why are you doing it? Like, what is your why? What do you want to feel when you're doing this, or what do you want to, it's not what you want to achieve, what do you want to feel. So what is this business going to give you on a daily basis? And don't talk to me about money. You don't want to focus it on money. You want to focus it on how many people maybe have you helped, or how many things have you been able to create, or some in how do you say it? Not really measurable things in directly related to output, but more like, okay, what type of heart feeling did it give you? Did you become happy when you were active during the day? And then just go do it, and find what gives you the best, how do you say it, like it will also, because business is for a bigger part also based on outer intention, so you really want to feel good, so you really want to be in heart mind coherence, and you really want to have that in the right on the right track, and then outer intention will do its work as well. So feel good, and then it comes, but do it. And for me, it was difficult because I'm a thinker, so doing was something that I wasn't used to. And now it's easy because you hire other people that do it. But it's about doing and about moving. It's about just having the energy flow. And if you want to like start your business, you are already a business. It's just how are you going to channel your gifts, and that's the business that you are, and the gift that you have to give.
That's so good. That's so good. Well, that's amazing. Thank you so much for taking the time to chat with me today, Shamangy. I really appreciate it. I'm just going to
Thank you
kind of
for having me.
absolutely. I'm just going to talk a little bit about, because I take notes every time I chat with somebody, and I just want to kind of like run down what we spoke about. And if I get anything a little bit off, or if you want to jump in at any point, just feel free, please. We just spoke a little bit about freedom, and I guess you're probably at what Vadim calls an indigo in the book.
Probably.
Yeah. And we
Yes.
yeah, we talked about that a little bit, and how money is not freedom in itself. A lot of times we get wrapped up in that illusion. But you studied psychology in school and wanted to help people with their mental things. Didn't finish your master's, tried twice, but you still were able to have some very interesting opportunities as a project manager. You had your company car and your Bluetooth, and you were working really hard, making a lot of money. Then you had the opportunity to go to Ibiza, which was pretty cool, and get paid for it. But yeah, just talking about then you tried again to sort of fit into the mold. And it didn't work either. But once you got out of that, you started your own business and you were able to generate a bunch of money. And that's how you knew that money in itself wasn't the thing either. And then we talked about logic and science a little bit. You made a really cool point about how 80% of what we experience is memories and 20% is new information. That's really interesting to think about. So as far as like instilling habits and stuff, that's a good thing to keep in mind. And then we talked a little bit about heart and mind, and how you studied a lot of different ideas and techniques. I can relate to this too, but it's all the things that you found over about the course of 10 years, you could find in transurfing. Talked a little bit about outer intention and how when you started to listen to your heart, or the rustle of the morning stars, as he calls it in the book, then things started to line up a little bit for you, and you were able to use both your head and your heart. And how to then we talked a little bit about depression and how you got out of that feeling of apathy, and you used a really cool example of the show Undercover Boss, which I am familiar with.
Okay.
Yeah, I've seen a few episodes of it. It is cool. Yeah. But that makes a lot of sense, because like that is very much like the observer. You're like, okay, cool. So let me see actually what this is and experience it and discover, which is
and is it most efficient?
Yeah.
They go check also if it's super efficient or not, or if something can be like improved. So yeah,
that's great. And that's kind of like that's kind of how I think of you are approaching life, from that perspective where you're going to go and discover. And that's what you were interested in when you were a kid. You had that curiosity that was just insatiable, and you wanted to discover things and research things, and you're very much a scientist. And then you gave some excellent advice as well for entrepreneurs. Just get out there and do it, which I'm a thinker too. So sometimes I can drag my feet, so I can completely understand that.
Yeah.
But part of the mentality is action. So that's what drives us too, is like that fire, that hunger, that sensation inside. But so thank you again so much. Is there anything you'd like to say, or any how can also people get in touch with you if they'd like to reach out?
Yeah, that's a great question. They can find me on Instagram. So that's my first and my last name, Shamangy Tel, and on YouTube the same, on Facebook also the same. But I'm also building a new platform, like these A to Z things for freedom. Like I call it Eleutheromaniacs, and Eleutheromaniacs is a difficult word for actually a simple thing, and it is defined as someone who has an obsession or a great desire for freedom. And so it could be travel in the world, it could be just having your own business, but it starts with mindset, and then you need to manage yourself, and also you need to manage your business. I'm working also on something like that. Today I had an awesome shoot to just make the idea a little bit more representable, that people can relate to it a little bit, because it's a fake term, but it's based actually more on creating your own life. So how do we do that? And if anyone's interested or something, it's eluteromaniacs.com, and you can just subscribe yourself already to when the launch is there. You can get some more information on if you feel like you're a person that's also really attracted to freedom and wants to create their own life in their own way, without any restrictions. I'm there to help, and this is something that I will build for people like this, by people like this. So I meet a lot of people here as well that are adding value to the platform and stuff like that. So that's something that I just wanted to share with the Eluteromaniacs out there.
Okay, very cool. Can you spell that for me? I'll definitely put it in the show notes.
Yes, it's ELEUTHROMANIACS.com.
Eluteromaniacs.com.
Yes, it's a Greek word. Yeah.
Very cool. What does it mean?
It means someone with an obsession or a great desire for freedom.
That's awesome. Oh my God, that's so cool. I love it. Yeah, that will definitely be in the show notes, and you can follow Shamangy on Instagram at ShamangyTel, and I'll put also that in the show notes, of course. Super excited to have you and work with you as a collaborator on TransurfingTV, and thank you so much for the time.
Same here,
really
Owen.
Appreciate it.
Thank you as well. I really appreciate you and everything you do. So thanks again for everything, and I'll keep supporting and how do you say it, sending you the great vibes and the energy to keep going.
That's fantastic. Likewise, thank you so much. We're making each other and the whole world stronger. So thank you so much for your contributions.
You too.
I'll talk to you soon. Thank you again. And that does it for this episode of the Reality Transurfing podcast. Be sure to pick up Vadim's book. Read that thing. It is quite the work. It's brought us all together. It's brought us all here to where we are now. Subscribe to TransurfingTV. Check out Renee's Instagram at reality_transurfing. You can find me on Instagram as well at Bootsy Greenwood. And if you want to support the production of this podcast, please do so at patreon.com/BootsyGreenwood. We'll see you guys next time. Until then, thanks. Happy surfing.